now. We should be recording, yes. And I'm just admitting a few more people, so we'll make our start shortly. First thing, I'll get everybody to just quickly introduce yourself, where you are, what's of why, where you're teaching or why this session is of interest. I know it's called Minecraft Successes, but it's really meant to be an open conversation on what's important for you. I have a couple of slides just with some links, but I really want to take notes today on what are people's issues. Hey, Vincent. Hey, Alicia, Helen, and really get on board with supporting everybody in a way that's meaningful. We'll just wait a minute or two. I know we've got a couple of other people who are jumping in to join us. Hey, David.
Hi, Brian.
In the beautiful outdoors.
Yes.
And Michael Webb has just been joining us. Welcome, Michael. Make sure I've not locked anybody out of our little waiting room. So just to let people know, I am recording this session, and we might make a start just on introducing ourselves. I think everyone knows me, but I've worked with Minecraft for a long while, worked with other virtual worlds before that, and I've worked for a long while in online spaces. So I really know what every one of you is doing at the moment in trying to manage both face-to-face and online teaching in this crazy world we're going through. I'm hearing a lot of parents being very supportive of what teachers do now. They don't ask what the teachers do all day because they have a much better idea of what it looks like, thankfully. So let's start with David. Just tell us who you are, where you teach, and how you support Minecraft or use Minecraft.
Right, hi, everyone. Yes, I'm David. Some of you met me at our Ridge First Cluster meeting, our introduction meeting, and I'm teaching year 4 this year. And Minecraft, we started pretty introductory in term 1. But then, as you know, with remote learning, it sort of changed. And at the moment, I've got a lot of students who are using it as a tool with what we call focus students, or our school, we call them daily innovators. So they have that time to work on a little project that they want to work on, that's something that's interesting to them. And I've had a few who, because we've had that one-on-one chat, they've actually, said, oh, look, others know how to use Minecraft really well and I don't. So some have actually used that session just as an exploring session. But I've put in some protocols and, thinking about the real world mechanics and how can that relate in Minecraft. So they're just getting that little brainstorm, I guess, little ideas. But then I had a student today want to do a little map of teaching others about global warming. So he had a few ideas that he could, thinking about. One was he wanted to change all the street lamps in the streets to solar power because he wanted to think about saving electricity. So he just did some little models like that in Minecraft, so little snippets. I had a really good example this week who a student was thinking about the MCG because he loves football. And we sort of talked about ways how it's going to look in the future. And he actually just wanted to start designing a stadium that would suit social distancing, so he could get back to going to football. And that was just, it was actually, it was his interest of football, but it was amazing that he wanted to actually think about how he could put that into Minecraft. So, just students thinking about it as a learning tool, I guess, is probably my main area at the moment. So, yeah.
Fabulous. That's really nice that the kids are really seeing it as a way to realise ideas. Yep. And from their own volition, because it's that autonomy that you're describing that really excites me. Yep. In seeing kids use Minecraft. So that's awesome. Thanks, David.
No, thanks.
Alicia, what's going to happen in what you're doing, and just let everybody know who you are.
So I'm Alicia. I'm the STEM teacher at Cranbourne Carlisle Primary School. So I teach across the foundation to year sixes. At the moment, I haven't attempted Minecraft remotely or in any of our remote learning. So I sort of was coming along this afternoon just to hear what people are doing, and if there's any great ideas I can bounce off.
Fabulous. Well, that was absolutely the intention of this session. So great. Thanks for coming. And I want to say up front, I appreciate all of you coming, because if you've worked online all day faced in remote teaching, then the last thing you really want to do is rock up to a remote meeting. So it's much appreciated that you've made it here today. David Jones. David Tyndall, sorry.
Yeah, that's me. Yeah, that was David Jones before. My name's David Tyndall. I am an AP at Eltham East Primary School with a primary responsibility for technology across the school. So I've been a busy lad the last few weeks. And Bron and I were talking before most of you joined. We started implementing Minecraft maybe late last year. Then in term one, trained up the teachers to put, I guess, a bit more of a curriculum purpose behind their use beyond the kind of explore phase. That got really, that was really good, got rolling in the end of term one. And then, of course, term two came along. And, of course, we've been focused on other curriculum areas and setting up remote and flexible learning. So we're just now getting to the point where some teams are saying, oh, well, maybe I could start implementing Minecraft. So we haven't had anyone this term have a go at remote. Excuse me, that's just another WebEx meeting starting. But we do have a team now who are keen to get started next week. They're doing a maths activity on tessellated patterns, I think. So Bron and I were talking earlier about, well, what do those projects mean, I guess, in an environment where the teacher is not there to have as much hands-on assistance, where there is a huge range of devices and platforms that our community is using. We've got everything from iPads to phones to Chromebooks to Macs and PCs, and every conceivable operating system you can think of. There is of different operating systems. So there's those challenges to consider and the equity around it. And Minecraft is a fairly equitable tool, but then there's the sort of multi-child families and working families and bandwidth and all those kind of challenges. So I'm interested to hear how other people are experiencing that and/or helping families to overcome that.
Well, one of the things we talked about last week, and I'll touch on again today, maybe if it's of interest, is how we can set up family-based projects as well, so that they can be working on something together and including their parents in some of that play and decision making, not actually playing in the world, but in some of the activity that's surrounding a project that might be set in Minecraft. But there's massive equity issues. I mean, I follow discussions all around the world with people trying to find the equitable alternative to Minecraft. And there are lots of kids using Roblox or other tools and, have a favourite game or a favourite tool, or they don't have access to technology. I mean, we've discussed before, we have kids who are living in a car or, in a refuge. So there are huge issues around making this a staple, but on the other hand, that shouldn't prevent us from stepping into the innovation space and seeing where it can take us, as long as we're mindful of supporting those other students. So yeah, interesting times. Helen.
Sorry, just took me a while to unmute. I'm Helen. I'm a secondary teacher at Guyra Central School in New South Wales. I'm my main role at this stage is as careers advisor, but I also take IT classes, a digital media class, and business studies. So I have a sort of fairly sort of mixed role. I met Bron, well, way more than 10 years ago, I think it was, originally doing work with Quest Atlantis, of which I did quite a bit of at the time and would like it back again, and have done some Second Life with Sue Gregory at the University of New England, but I'm very new to Minecraft, and Minecraft has been a program is quite well established amongst the kids at my school, and to date it's probably the only thing that I've actually seen engage the students, nearly all of the students across the board. So I now need to get in on the act with that and work out how to use that for their benefit, take that engagement and start bringing some of my classwork and stuff over to that. But I'm now on the steep Minecraft sort of learning curve, but I have been at home with my grandson, 10-year-old grandson, who has done quite a bit of stuff with Minecraft, and I've been setting him sort of daily challenges each day, and so I've been able to see what he's doing and how he's going, and things like that. So yeah, that's basically me.
Cool. So you have your own personal sensei.
Yeah. So it's quite interesting because I've got his sister here next to me at the moment, and she's going, Minecraft's just
Hello.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
So she's just saying that it's just a game, it's gaming, it's not really schoolwork. So that's possibly a difference. They go to different schools, and I presume you don't have Minecraft at your school?
No.
No, so she doesn't do any Minecraft at her school. So that's an interesting thing. But they're thinking of doing it. So Oliver's school, though, it looks like they've had someone they could go last year, a teacher that was obviously interested in Minecraft and was giving them formal periods of time with Minecraft. This year it appears that they only get to play in the space unless, something like, well, Oliver will take the challenges. He's in year 5, but he's in an extension year 5, year 6 class. So he's bright enough to sort of take some of those challenges on and really go with them, what I've discovered in the last few days. So so it's a shame that his school haven't continued that, I think.
Oh, well, they might pick it up now. It's interesting, and I even had this conversation with Travis Smith from Microsoft this week about how many people don't use the word game when they're describing Minecraft or to parents or even to teachers, to avoid that sense of, oh, they're just playing, that idea that it's not actually real schoolwork. Sorry, I'm just letting Lauren into the meeting. And we want to hear now from Michael Webb.
Yes, hello. I think I am in similar boats to Alicia and David Tyndall, that we were very keen. We had 3 of our staff members. So first I should say, my name is Michael Webb. I'm the Digital Technology Learning Specialist at Banyule Primary School. So also been a very busy time over the last few weeks. And so, yeah, we had 3 of our staff members working on the collaborative inquiry of this Minecraft for Education. So we were very excited for it. However, it has just taken a back seat in the lead up to this. And at this stage, I'm conscious of screen time with a lot of time with our students online. And I do love the idea that this could be definitely at this stage an extension route, or to support learning, and definitely I see the value in Minecraft for Education. I've just been reluctant to open. Thank you for the video showing us how we could do the servers. So we know we can host our Minecraft for Education servers now. I'm just conscious of how and when, or what week, if we are still in lockdown, should we include this with everything else that's been rolling out so far?
Yeah. Well, you touch on some really big issues there with the screen time. You know, what's reasonable and healthy for children is a big issue. And we also, last week's session, we talked quite a bit about the social environment that Minecraft can provide for kids that they're not getting now. You know, the playground they could be having, to hang out with their teachers in a more relaxed way, less formal way. You know, so that I think there are some options there that may not necessarily have been on your original curriculum map, because I know you guys were well advanced in what you wanted to do and had been seriously thinking through things. And then this dastardly virus came along and threw us all off the tracks. And I totally
Stranded
understand.
you in Sydney? I mean, not much travelling anymore there, Bron.
No. I was supposed to visit all your schools. Well, that's a bit tricky. I'll have to drop into your WebEx meetings. But yeah, so, you know, we totally understand that teachers have, the first few weeks back of term, most teachers have been like, wow, what are we doing, you know? And I'm sensing that a routine is forming, that some, you know, some sense of being able to manage what they're doing is happening, you know, and parents are feeling exactly the same, a little more settled in what's going on. So I think there's a lot that's settled down, and people are starting to open up a bit of brain space for Minecraft. I don't think anyone should try and dive into some deep curriculum activity unless they're really seriously aficionado with Minecraft themselves and they've got enough kids that can manage it. But I do think it's a space we can be dipping our toes in.
Yeah, I like the idea. Even when you just said there, I like the idea of maybe on a Friday towards the end of the day, even doing some of those design challenges, but having it open as a server for the kids to get together in a social setting. I think that could be quite valuable.
Yeah, I think that's great. I know I posed the idea Freaky Friday, and it just posing an hour and saying, let's meet in the Minecraft server the teacher opens, send the kids the join code and throw out a challenge for this hour. Let's do something. And there's plenty of online challenges that you can adapt or pull up to use. And
it's also one of the, sorry to interrupt, Bron.
Please interrupt everybody as you feel you need to.
But one of the really important things about this whole process, as I'm sure many of you are aware, is welfare. And we've often, the last few weeks, had families asking about the sort of social space that we can broker, because some families already have their own, and some kids obviously have their own social networks that they might, or platforms that they use. They might be Zooming or chatting online with a small group of friends, but parents and kids were interested in, well, how can I get together with my whole group of friends? And the question is, well, who brokers that and who supervises that? We have had some teams setting up WebEx meetings where the kids can just join in and the teacher is just there. They're not playing a sort of teaching role. They're just there to help guide the conversation if it gets a bit, you know, wobbly, or just say hi to the kids. But then the question is, well, what are they actually doing? Are they doing something together? Are they playing together? Are they just chatting? Whereas there is an opportunity for Minecraft to play a role in having them play together and work together and just have a nice social experience that's good for their welfare, not necessarily one that's you know, deeply rooted in a sort of curriculum outcome. Maybe the welfare outcome is enough at the moment. Maybe that's what the kids need.
Absolutely. And I think, you know, that's the playground they don't have now with each other. But the other thing you'll find from experience is that kids will play with whoever's online. And so the old, you know, friendships of the playground and school are often dropped, and they start to appreciate other kids in their class because that's who's online to play with at that time. And so it's really a lot of social benefit to just open a server, even if you only want to do it for half an hour, but just to have, this is free play time. I'm going to throw a challenge out, see if you can meet it in the hour, work together, work on your own, you know, come chat, have fun. And I think beyond the disciplines of curriculum, I think there's huge benefit in that. And I think it's a relax for parents too, to say this is just a social space. We're attending to the social needs of the students, which is also social emotional importance. And it gives the parents some time off. The thing we discussed last week that is important, you can open a world and send the kids the code, but they can also open a world and send each other the code. And if you open the world and send the code to the kids, then it's your responsibility to have some supervisory role in the space. But parents have to understand, if the kids open a world and send the code to their mates, then the kids are then supervised by whom? It can't be the teacher's responsibility. And I really want to encourage kids to do that, to set up a play date with their friends or a challenge time, or say, we've got this challenge, let's do it as a group. I don't want to discourage that at all, but I think we need to make sure parents understand that it can't be the teacher's responsibility for all the time that kids might be on Minecraft. So we have to say hello to Vance. Hey Vance, are you in WA today? Did you say?
No, you gave these times.
Yes.
And you said there was ungodly hour in Eastern time. Well, I ignore that. You said in WA. I'm in that time zone. I'm in Malaysia. I'm in the other end of WA time. So yeah, perfect for me. Anyway, it's just afternoon here. So hi to everybody in Australia. I've known Braun for a very long time, since those crazy network diagrams came out, and Quest Atlantis, Active Worlds, that era. And but recently, EVO Minecraft MOOC. I think I'm going to put some stuff in the text chat if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And if anyone wants to share the screen to show anything, that's fine too.
Well, I've got links here. I just put them in a notepad. So I mean, and that'll be a record. So that's EVO Minecraft MOOC. Braun was a co-moderator one year, and she did some interesting presentations for us, and those presentations would be linked at that link I just put in there. There's a sidebar that gives an archive of all the presentations we've done associated with EVO Minecraft MOOC. EVO is Electronic Village Online. It's a Cal IS Computer Assisted Language Learning Intersection initiative of TESOL. And I got to do Minecraft. We've been doing this for 6 years now, and I got into it because I didn't know anything about Minecraft, and I had a lot of trouble finding people to play with. So I decided, well, the best way to fix that was to start a session. We call them sessions, the EVO session, which most people, when they start an EVO session, they have an expertise that they want to convey. But in my case, I wanted to find playmates. So that worked quite well. As you know, we've been doing that for 6 years now, and Braun was a part of that. And a couple of more things I thought I'd just bring to the table. Just a couple of things we've done. I'm going to put a link in here. Yes, this is it. Okay, so this is I do something called Learning Together, and I think this was in the Learning Together thing. Rose Bard, one of our moderators, and Dakota Redstone and Jane Xian, who's in Taiwan. She's also in this time zone. I'll encourage her to come if I catch wind of another one. And anyway, she has a son, Matty, and Matty has friends who play Minecraft who are also in EVO Minecraft MOOC. There's a kid named Emmanuel there. And so she set up a challenge for them. It turned out she had an ulterior motive. Let's see if I can get this ulterior motive here. It's much more effective to put these in a chat here, which gets preserved. I presume you're gonna, are you recording this? Or
yes, yes, absolutely. Okay. Yep.
You keep an archive, so you can we can share the text chat.
Yep.
So she wrote a little article. I'm an editor on the internet, editor of TESOL EJ. That's electronic journal, the teaching English as a second language. And she wrote an article in which she researched this interplay between Matty and Emmanuel in this challenge that she set up in Minecraft. And her focus was on the vocabulary that they used. And she did an analysis of their vocabulary and measured this against the general word lists, Pollination general word list, and she found that the vocabulary that they used was much higher than they would be expected to know in their at their grade levels. So that's an interesting article. And then another thing I thought I would, here okay, let's see. Yeah, I put a little.
Just while you pull that up, Vance, there was an interesting piece came up last week about when kids are restricted to chat, how their vocabulary and their language improves in terms of having to get their message across. And even though they're using abbreviations and a lot of shortenings, there's still a lot they have to get across that they're used to doing orally. And a number of teachers said that they found it very fascinating to watch the teachers work together in the chat that evolved.
Maybe you can share with me the record of what you've done so far. So I could go back and watch recordings and.
Absolutely, I have.
Okay.
I have a link for that. Actually, it will grab. I've been cutting up the YouTube videos of the sessions so far, and so just making them digestible chunks. And so I've been popping them into a channel so that people could go back and instead of being the whole hour or hour and a half session, whatever it ends up being, it can be more an answer to a question. So. So you can see some of the discussions from last week. I haven't committed the video from the week before. I've been working backwards. So there'll be more videos to go in there, but that's been really nice. And I should say for people about EVO, this is a really fascinating international group of educators working in K to Grey in language learning.
Great. I like it.
And some really fascinating dialogue and learning comes out of that. So there's a lot to see, because language teachers have had a very rich and long history in using virtual environments. And so part of my learning when I first came into virtual worlds was with language teachers in the WebHeads group. So there's a lot to learn there. It's like librarians, they're special gems in terms of these things.
Library 2.0, are you a member of that?
No, is that a good one?
Yeah, it's part of the Learning Revolution. It's Steve Hargadon's mini, what we call mini domains. Learning Revolution is one, but Library 2.0 is another. And I could find you a link eventually. But anyway, you can probably Google it, Library 2.0. They have a conference every now and then. And it's all about librarians who are just talking about the most interesting things lately, protecting their libraries from walk-in shooters, which is a big issue in the United States. The things, how you handle COVID, and just all kinds of things. They're full of resources, and they just know where everything is. So it's they're really a fascinating group. We have, I just put in the text chat some more readings that we've made about EVO Minecraft MOOC. So if you wanted to look there, you can see a list of other things we've written. And the only other thing I'd really like to mention is that I interact with a group called VSTE. The V stands for Virginia. I never can remember what the rest of it stands for, but basically they're into Minecraft and Second Life. And this is what we did yesterday. They have something they call Minecraft Mondays, and they meet on their server. In fact, actually, we're going to do something. You know Heike Philp, don't you?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. She's doing. Do you know about the virtual roundtable coming up?
No.
Okay. I could put a link to that also. I'll dig that out of there when Vincent talks to us. I guess he's next. And anyhow, so there we're doing a presentation. We're going to go on the server and just do a tour and talk about what we're talking about now. We're hoping to, we're doing this in Zoom, and we want to engage people. You'd be more than welcome to come and
I'd love to
interact with us if you like. I'll put a link to that in a moment. But the one I just put in is what we did yesterday. And they, I don't really have students because I'm retired. I'm in the gray area that Ron mentioned. So, but I work with teachers trying to get them involved in Minecraft so they'll know how to do it with students. You know, that's the holdup really is the teachers. So they're just not, how do they start? Where do they start? I started 6 years ago by, you know, starting this group and getting people to play with and learning quite a lot about it in the meantime. But this thing points to a Learning Together blog post that I did about what we did yesterday. And what they did was we used Discord. They put a slideshow in Discord and showed us how we were going to learn orienteering. And then we went over into survival mode, and they had a chest there. And in the chest, you could get a map, and you could get a diamond sword, which you might need, and some potato cakes, and that sort of stuff, and a couple of things like that. And basically use the map to find the Woodland Manor, which they had located because they had traded a map with one of the villagers in some place that they had protected. And so they had a cartographer there, and they bought maps from him, and he gave them a map that showed them where the Woodland Manor was. And so she replicated these maps, and she had copies of them in the chest. And so we all got them up there and formed teams, and we competed to see who could get to the manor first. Anyway, what a thing to do with students, you know, this kind of thing. And they're doing stuff like that all the time. I mean, turtle farms, for example, in the version 14 Minecraft, you got all these sea animals. Kids are building turtle farms. I interact with a lot of teachers and find out what they're doing, which is really quite interesting. So that's it. I'm invited to this conversation. I thought I'd bring something to the table. And
as always, Vance, as always.
I'll scrounge around for some more links while we're listening to Vincent. Fabulous.
Mm-hmm. And over to you, Vincent.
I haven't got any links.
Got to note.
Find someone else. What links have we got? Yeah, hi. Vincent from the Australian Centre for the Moving Image here. If I've not spoken to you before, ACME is a museum that was already closed before COVID closed every other museum across the planet because we were closed for renovation. So that was a very interesting, it's a kind of strange irony. We were all sort of prepared. And the other thing is that I'm in education at ACME, and we've spent years looking at creating and doing online learning. And so it's sort of like, yep, here we go for us a little bit. And I've got some teammates that are really quite brilliant at using the screen to talk about the screen. I really understand about that screen time thing. I'm also a parent with 3 high school kids at home, 1 in year 12 and 1 in year 7 and 1 in the middle. And my partner is a teacher. And so it's Education Central here, as well as learning about what kids are doing on the other side as well. So that's all sort of very fascinating for me. And here, my children, my 2 younger ones, are currently sitting on a Minecraft server that I just started paying for last week, and inviting their mates along for after school plays. You know, so many people look at Minecraft and it's always the primary school kids, but these, and even my oldest year 12 boy is thinking about getting on with Minecraft with his mates as well. So it's sort of like, you know, it's an amazing piece of technology that I continually, when it very first came out, I actually started a server. I secretly got a machine at my work and stuck it on an ADSL collections connection so I could sneak out and used it as a server, and got some of my children's friends on that. And I've got a long sort of history with Minecraft, and I do have I'm very sort of passionate about how solid a thing it is. And yeah, it's not so much of a game, it's a play. I think. But I also run the game lessons program that is trying to have, it's building a database of lesson plans based around games. So I'm in the process of building the database so we can actually put it online and share it. And so it's about sharing lesson plans that are based in games. It's about making it easier for teachers to pick up things like Minecraft and run with it in their classroom, because I have a lot of appreciation for games as well. And forgive me, I'm a little bit tired. It's about my 20th call today.
I think you're talking to people who can say yes, join the club.
Yeah, I know. I do assume.
David's had things pinging while we've been talking to him. I saw something the other day from a teacher about how early parents have been contacting her, and she was a little distraught, wondering what time she needed to actually get out of bed to answer to parent inquiries. So yeah, it's a bit of a minefield in some ways.
Yeah, must be incredibly stressful too, I think. I've sort of seen that side of things from teachers at my partner's school and my partner, getting on top of everything.
Yeah, I think it's a little unappreciated as well, because with between the teaching online and face to face, and each state has taken such a different approach to it all. It's a lot. It's a lot to take up. So yes, hopefully we'll come out of this with people having gained confidence in technology, and that they'll, make a lot of benefit of back in their classrooms. That's the thinking. And the person who can tell us a bit about some of that is Lauren. So Lauren, you want to unmute and tell us who you are?
Hi everyone. My name's Lauren. I've recently joined.
Picture.
Oh, I don't have a picture. I could turn on my camera, but my internet connection is really unstable. So I'll start and I'll wave, and then I'll just quickly turn it off again. Yeah, I've just recently joined the Digital Learning Services Unit with the Department of Education, and one of my responsibilities will be around Minecraft. I've used Minecraft before, but not in Australia, in Scotland, where I'm from. So I used to use it with a region of schools near Edinburgh. But yeah, I've just joined. I'm slowly but surely getting to grips with all the different things that I need to learn about. We've been looking into ideas for using Minecraft in remote learning, and maybe some activities that could be done. But yeah, I guess that's a quick summary from me.
Cool, and it's lovely to have you, but you certainly have hit the ground running.
Yes.
As Lauren only started her job 2 weeks ago, it's certainly a big ask.
Yeah, but it's really good to be here. I'm really looking forward to working on the Minecraft stuff and with everyone, and working with everyone within the Microsoft team. So I will catch up, but yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It'll be really good.
Fantastic. In the spirit of following along from Vance, I'm just going to pop some links in the chat. Now, I'm a big fan of teachers teaching teachers, and so I pulled up some teachers that I'm really a big fan of internationally, who are doing really interesting things with Minecraft that I think still translate to the virtual. And these teachers were all quoting getting started ideas, so they're really relevant to what we're trying to do now, and all their activities I think could be of interest. So I want to just put those into the chat, but I'm having a problem copying them across. So I'll pop those in as we go. I do have them on a slide as well, which I'll give everybody the link to the slide with all the links afterwards. I'll copy all the chat out, so any of the links that anyone's shared, Vance, and we want Vincent to share a link to his project as well, and so we can have a look at all of the things going on.
There's your link, Vincent.
So yeah, and Discord's an interesting tool. A lot of kids are using it in their play spaces to get around just having to use chat, and they use it with a lot of games. So it's an interesting tool to have a look at if you've got brain space for another tool, but it's a cool one. So I'll pop each of these in the chat, the different ones. They're female and male. They're mostly about tips for getting started with Minecraft. And I had shared these in one of our sessions in Victoria earlier on in the year. But I think these are good people to look to. They're actually in classrooms and they're doing it. And they vary from science teachers to language teachers to history teachers and so on. And one is a nice set of recommendations from the Minecraft Mentors, Global Minecraft Mentors group. And that's really quite nice in terms of, it's an international group that put together a resource to share. So I just want to grab the link for that, but it's not copying. Hold on, I'll get back to it. But I'll pop them all into the chat. So those are good resources to have a look at. The other thing that I'm not sure whether everyone is aware of is the current resource from Minecraft.net, which is the remote learning with Minecraft Education Edition. And I've just put a link to that in. Did I end up? I've put it in to Vincent, not to the whole group. There we go. Bronwyn needs training here, but there you go. So that resource has a lot of ideas and challenges that you can throw out. I really think the idea of setting a regular time in your classroom schedule where you might open a server, send out the share code, whoever gets in, gets in. And I know Julie Powell was on last week and she said she was having some intermittent problems with kids accessing the world. And we'll talk about that again in a minute, but I just wanted to say, I think you can't put too much high stakes on being able to connect, because at any given time there seems to be some intermittent glitches about getting onto a shared world using the share code and not just the IP address. I've got some colleagues in New Zealand and here who are working on how to make that more stable. And in fact, one of them has worked out how to make a Minecraft server persistent so that it stays up 24/7 because she's working with junior high school intermediate students in New Zealand. But that's a really cool space. But when you send out the share code, as soon as you close the activity is closed. And that's a benefit for us if you're going to start something like a Friday activity or Minecraft Monday or Freaky Friday. Minecraft Monday is nice because it could be you set a project on Monday and then on Friday you get the kids to drop in and share what they did on that project. So finding a way to put it into your schedule as a regular thing, I think is great, rather than having it be a haphazard time. And I really don't want to undersell the value of using Minecraft socially. And I know a number of you have already mentioned that before. I think it's important. Kids need to just play, to have some, some time to let off steam, run around if they need to, in the world and hang out with their mates. And if you want to set a challenge inside that, do, but don't hold them to it. I mean, it's as much for you to learn and watch what they do. I'm always astounded when I watch kids in Minecraft, what they choose to do and how they build and how they kind of so osmotically get involved with each other in building something and setting themselves a challenge. So the social stuff can't be underestimated. As long as you explain to parents that's what it is. It's a social time. This is you don't have to supervise this. It doesn't, I'm supervising it for this hour. And just let them hang out and you hang out with them. A point there that I do want to make is Dana Boyd, who's a researcher in young people's learning in youth and digital technology, came up with a finding from her research that young people learn best in spaces with trusted adults. And that's very different from being the police in a space, from being there to police your kids. And I think we have to make sure you don't see your role as that your role needs to be the trusted adult. So you're in the space to hang out and play with the kids. If it gets a little, as I think David said, wobbly, if it gets a little wobbly, then you're the person there to perhaps correct it and jump on the teachable moment to correct that wobbliness. But they're kids and they need to have that space, and you need to be there as their trusted adult. not as the policeman there to oversee everything they do, because I think, you know, that spoils the social space, and it doesn't give you the same learning you'll get from being there in with them, hanging out with them. So that's really important stuff. I think that document, the Minecraft remote learning, isn't all that full of ideas. It does have a lot of challenges though. So if you're looking for some kind of fun challenge you could throw out though to the class, there's some good ones there. And of course there are equity issues surrounding that. And I will share with people in the chat, there's a really nice resource that was put, I saw it on Facebook. An architecture company has produced a resource. An architecture company has produced a resource with cutout houses and buildings and skyscrapers, and kids can actually create a tactile version of a city or a suburb or a part of their community in paper. And it's really quite sweet, and could be a fun alternative to kids, and an off-screen alternative, which a few of you have mentioned the concern about screen time in online learning, and trying to find ways to offer an off-screen alternative or an off-screen adjunct to your activity. We've just been joined by Megan. Megan, do you want to say?
I've got to go. Sorry, folks.
Bye, Vincent.
Bye.
Thanks for popping in.
Brian, how are you? Hello.
Hello. You're very faint.
Oh, it's my terrible microphone. My good one is being used elsewhere.
But we're hearing you anyway, so yeah, but
okay, good.
Just want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name's Megan. I'm currently doing my PhD on games in education, but I've previously done a lot of Minecraft stuff in the classroom. Yeah, it's high school.
So Helen is also a high school teacher who's on here at the moment. And we have another member of our group, Julie, who isn't here today, who's also a high school teacher. So we might want to connect up. We're hoping to run a high school session,
oh, cool.
A high school discussion to look at, because both Julie and Helen have mentioned engagement problems with their students, and they're hoping to look to Minecraft to address some of that.
Yeah.
So that's cool. And Megan does all things amazing with games. So she's a really good person. If you don't follow her, put your Twitter handle in the chat. And all of you put your Twitter handles in the chat so we can follow each other if you're on Twitter. That would be really cool as well. So people can follow each other, because there's a number of people here doing super cool stuff. So before we get on to talking about some other successful ideas, what are some of the concerns, roadblocks, or issues that people are facing? And your mics can all be on. Please jump in wherever you need to. But I really want to hear some of the concerns people might be having or issues in moving to employing Minecraft in this remote space.
Bron?
Yeah?
I just wanted to share an example of a little bit of a social activity I've done.
Oh, cool.
That, you know, might just get people thinking about ways to use it.
Yeah.
And so what we did is there's a really large, great world called Dragon Realm. I don't know if you've seen that one. It's a very large world with castles and cities in.
Mm-hmm.
And what we actually did is, as a social aspect, we did hide and seek. So one student had a camera, and everyone else went and had to hide in the world, and then the task of the person was to actually find people and then do a photo. And if they got a photo of them, that means they're being tagged and they're out. So it was a little simple example of a social aspect of doing something on a Friday or something that the kids found it as a way we could play with each other in a world. But it had a little bit of purpose that we were, trying to find each other, and it wasn't educational level. It was more of a social, but the kids found it really rewarding that they could actually play a game, like a lunch break game of playing hide and seek inside Minecraft.
I think the other thing in that, David, is that they're learning to use the camera tool, which I really love in Minecraft, because I think when we're back into being able to use it in a more curriculum value way, that it's a great tool for them to be able to use in their student engaged assessment. So they can point to things that they've, photographed in the world that they want to say, hey, assess me on this. I did this really cool thing, assess me on this. So yeah, learning to use the camera with purpose is a fun idea. I really like that.
And I found even that, some students would decide to hide on their own when some would group with each other and follow each other. So there's, just a little touch of social aspect in there that they could actually get that, a little bit of normality that they have at school.
And then David, if somebody is tagged, do you nominate someone who's it next and they go off?
Yeah. So I modeled that first, as I was the person with the camera. And they thought that was great that I was the one trying to find them. And then, someone who, would be taking part and really, taking it on or wanting a bit of have a go, they would then, in the chat bit say, could I have a go? And it would be a short 5 to 10 minute little session. But it was just a way that we found it was a bit of a social, fun way to be in Minecraft. And the kids really enjoyed it. And then they started thinking themselves, how could we start doing some music drama activities? Or, it just started as a bit of a spark for them as well. Could we make ABBA games in Minecraft that are similar? What else could we do? So it was a good discussion, little prompt as well. Could we actually do music and drama in Minecraft and ABBA areas of school?
You might have to help me out, and Brian, you can help, because I missed it last week about hosting. Do you have to have your own server to host, or can you do it the way you would normally do it at school?
The way you normally do it, hold on, I've got a slide.
You said you posted a video or something, but I missed it.
I have in that YouTube list of links that I sent.
I couldn't access that link. It just, for some reason, sent me to my channel.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll work that out while we're still online and point you in the right place. But let me just share the slide that's most important to that. So, are you seeing my screen now?
Yeah.
Okay, let me drag the pretty faces down below. So you'll see there, it's just the same as before. You go in, you create a new world. Now, if you're going to set a building project, you really want to, you may want to have less.
Like a flat land.
Yeah, so developing a flat space might be great if you want them to get in and build something in the immediate space. If you're going to play hide and seek, though, you don't want to do that. And you could download a world and use it and then host that world out. So you could, for instance, be hosting Mini Melbourne for everyone to come in and play in Mini Melbourne together, or other worlds. So you start with your world, you then select host as your option for that world, and then you'll generate a join code, which you can send to the students, and you can then all be in the world. Now, I wanted to ask David, how many students did you get into your hide and seek?
I've got 15 students at the moment in my class who are digitally accessing. So I think only one couldn't get in, but I had, say 14 I was able to get.
Great.
But then we're in an area that, parents, we're a BYOD school, so we're all on the same devices. And, parents have got, NBN and internet pretty sufficient. So, that's sort of our little case.
And you really won't know if there are any roadblocks in that until you get kids in. But Minecraft itself recommends you get a quality experience up to 20 on the shared world. And then, although you can, on paper, have 30 in there, the experience up to 20 is a better, more robust experience. So, you might have to consider that it's first in, best dressed in terms of getting in if you've got more students than that. And I know Julie Powell, who was on the call last week, and you can hear this in the recordings from last week, said that she had issues where she was getting her kids online. That was really great. But then the next time, some kids would be having issues getting in, and kids who'd been in before couldn't get in. And so there was this some niggly little intermittent problems that she was having. But overall, she was able to get her kids in, and they were able to engage together. So
we're all learning digital resilience now. So.
Yeah. We've found that classroom mode between 15 to 20 and anything above 20, it just crashes for us. But like if you're not, you don't have to run classroom mode, and if you're not running classroom mode, you can still just host the world up to about 30.
Do you mean classroom mode crashes or the whole thing crashes?
Classroom mode crashes.
But the world is active.
But the world still works up to 30. Just don't rely on having classroom mode if you've got more than 20 or even more than 15 sometimes.
And it could be, we talked about last week that, you know, you might want to consider these as optional activities, or, you know, if it's a fun experience, then everybody may not need to come, but it's certainly worth getting your feet in. And I like that idea of, I can imagine the kids wanting to play Hunt the Teacher.
Yeah. Well, one of the things we've been trying to do is find ways to lighten the load for classroom teachers. So, you know, for me as an AP, this might be something that I will do. So therefore those teachers, you know, they might get a little moment off, or our specialists might step in. Our specialists don't have as strong a role to play as the classroom teachers in this current environment. So it might be a role that they can play to allow the teachers some time off the computer screen. So that's, I'm not sure what the experience of other schools and their specialists are, but ours are certainly, you know, not as busy at the moment as the classroom teachers are.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great idea. I think on that vein, Mini Melbourne, if you go to the Mini Melbourne page on Fuse in Victoria, or others who may not know of Mini Melbourne, I can put the link out. There is a scavenger hunt that's attached to Mini Melbourne, so you can actually go around Melbourne and find out, do dolphins swim in the river? And a whole lot of other weird things that I did not know about Melbourne until I actually did the scavenger hunt myself with some kids. But the thing about that is you could set that and ask kids to play as a family, get their parents to sit with them in the computer and run around Melbourne and look for these things in a scavenger hunt. So, you know, I think there are ways we could be more creative about how can we set resources that are activities that are not bounded by the class the kids are in. Could multiple kids in a family be doing a project together? Could the kids be taking their parents on a tour of somewhere? There's a whole lot of resources that are in the commercial realm for Minecraft Education Edition that Minecraft has just released for free. And so they're very game-oriented spaces that kids could go off and play, and kids in a family could play that together. So I think we have to think, if we think group activity, it may not necessarily be kids in the same class. It could be a vertical group in a family.
Mm. I think for us too, we still need to keep this as a voluntary thing, because we still have families. I was literally just responding to an email before this that don't have internet access yet, and we're waiting for the department to deliver devices, or we're waiting for Telstra to deliver devices to get those families online. So there will be equity and access issues that we'll have. I'm not sure how others can overcome, or if you've got any insights to overcome that, but you know, I hate to raise it as a problem, but it is a problem.
No, and it's a very important thing. Anyone else have ideas or things you're doing in your school to address the equity issues?
I was actually saying goodbye, but we have been handing out all our laptops to families. So yeah, same. Like the department stipulated, so that's as best we could do, but understand bandwidth is I can see that bandwidth is an issue that we can't control really, especially if you're in a multi-child household.
No, my friend who does primary teaching up in the Pilbara, where the kids don't have computers at home, basically. Like, they would do a Minecraft activity on the computers in class, but then do activities surrounding that were paper-based, like colouring in or drawing or literacy-based. So she was still tapping into the popularity of the game, but not necessarily using the digital task or relying on them to do the digital task at home. I mean, that's a bit harder now with remote learning, but she was still, I guess, tying up her other activities in the context of Minecraft to carry on that engagement with what they'd been doing.
Yeah, that's good thinking.
And I think the other thing is, Minecraft, we always assume it comes to a point of build, but there is still something to be said for designing things, planning them before building them. So maybe in this second half of term, kids can be designing things that they'll get to implement when they're back in the classroom. So you could have them, designing their fantastical builds that they want to create in Minecraft. And if they don't have access, then that task could be transferred into the start of the hopeful face-to-face classroom. So not every design exercise needs to come through to completion of a build. So I think there's space there for kids to, like pixel art, there are lots of different ways you could do pixel art activities with grid paper or other sorts of things, to plan them. And then when you get access to Minecraft, you can build it in the three-dimensional space. So I think that's an option as well. Making things optional is great. And, kids picking things up. I know Alicia mentioned this, or this was last week, about the kids that picked up Minecraft. It was made an option for their project. You could answer the project in this, or this, an essay or a Minecraft build or something else. So allowing those kids that do have it, those options. But it's hard to make the other alternatives seem as fun, There are some kids, it would have been me when I was a kid, writing the essay would have been really great fun. I would have liked that. Or drawing an artwork or creating a graphic novel or something else like that. So that if you can make it just as engaging, create a cartoon that does it, something else to go as the option to Minecraft, so that it isn't, all daggy things and Minecraft. And I don't know how teachers are getting along at the moment. What if you were able to set family projects? What would that mean in terms of teachers having to talk to each other? Are teachers very isolatory at the moment, or you're still keeping your year level conversations and team meetings going?
Ours are all over each other. It's almost a constant stream on, we use WebEx Teams. I don't think they've communicated with each other more than they are right now.
I see lots of nodding. Well, that's great. So maybe those are options to set some family projects. But I do think we have an opportunity here to get parents to see what Minecraft is and how we might value it. And so I think getting times when you say to the kids, sit and show your parents that, take your parents on a tour of Melbourne. There's a few beautiful Mars worlds that few worlds that NASA has opened up recently that are fantastic. The kids could go off and explore space. So, take your parents into space and have the parents sit with the child and explore things. So I think there's a lot of opening up we could be doing there as a social thing. It doesn't need to be assessed. It doesn't need to be reported on. Perhaps, the kids and the parent write a reflection on what it was like to tour Melbourne, or, sharing that on Seesaw or whatever is your sharing and portfolio tool. But I think there's a lot to do there. The other thing, for those of you who are more adventurous, I saw some things on today. A teacher in, I'm going to say Malaysia, who's been specialising in what he calls app smashing. And it's getting kids to do something in one tool, but using another tool to take it to the next level. So perhaps doing something in Minecraft and producing a sway. So thinking about your 365 tools, doing something in another tool accompanying that. So I know a teacher I worked with in Florida who created some work in Minecraft on environmental science, and the kids worked individually, but they shared their work back by, they got some comic software, graphic novel software, and there's plenty of that free online. And they put screen grabs into the graphic novel and then put a sentence under each to tell the story of what happened in their world. So what they were sharing back was not actually Minecraft. Minecraft was a vehicle to create graphics. So that was a really cool, fun thing. So, you know, if you've got kids with the other end of access, and you might think about app smashing. Is there a way they can be combining tools to do something beyond just Minecraft? So there's some new lingo, app smashing.
Yeah, I like that one. Thank you. I have to go. I'm really sorry.
Look, I'm really, really appreciative of everyone's time. As I said, I know you've been doing this all day, and then to come and do some more is really wonderful of you. So thank you very much, David. Thanks.
I'm going to
Anyone else having? Sorry.
I'm going to put one more link. I'll put another link in the chat. It's let's see if I can get it in there. Okay, yeah, it's this Stuck at Home challenge. Have you heard about it? Flipgrid. Anyway, if you go to that link, you can read about the Stuck at Home challenge. I just copied this from something else, but basically,
oh, cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And
one of the Minecraft challenges that I really like that people might consider, and you can do it as a multiplayer or as a single player, is design your bedroom. But for COVID purposes, it's design your bedroom with a way of exercising.
Okay.
And teachers that thanks Alicia, great to have you here. Teachers that I've spoken to about it said it was really great because kids could, kids who were footy fans were building something related to football in their bedroom. And, other kids were designing gymnastic spaces or whatever. So it's a way of them actually being able to represent their personality and their identity in the bedroom. And it's a real thing. We have to think about our health and our fitness while we're being contained. And so, that challenge is another really nice one that works very well. Anyone else got any ideas or advice they want to share?
Yeah, I have one more link. This is something I blogged from Joe Dale in 2014, I see, about app smashing. So
app smashing, cool.
Yeah, it was, I don't know, it's the first time I ever heard the term. But anyway, you can see how Joe Dale does it. You know Joe Dale, he's quite a performer when he gets on for his 90-minute workshops.
I know the name. I don't know that I know him, but yeah.
Okay, anyway, there's a link to his one of his workshops about app smashing.
Do we have any other issues, comments?
Does everybody know they can copy the chat?
Yeah, you should see at the bottom a file link. I have some of mine I still have to post. So when when you all leave, I'll continue putting those in and save the list away so everyone will have them. I'll put it on the YouTube space. Were you able to get to that YouTube link?
I didn't try, but
I couldn't do it. It asked me to create my own YouTube channel when I clicked on it.
How about the Bitly Braun?
Yeah, that one.
Let me see if I can get there. For some reason, the links aren't hyperlinked in the. Okay, let's see. It's swimming around. It's thinking about it. It's coming up with something. It's got it's got my channel again. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I'll have to fix that. I must have put, when I shortened the URL, I've put in the wrong URL. Anyway, when I post it online, if you go and find me on YouTube, then you'll find the Minecraft resources. But I'll put out on Twitter and Facebook the link, and all the links from today will be in that. So if you, the YouTube is the spot to find all the links to everything. So,
can I just ask a question, please?
Yeah.
Oliver we've been sitting there, and I've this week, and while he's been doing school and stuff, and I've been watching him doing what he's been doing on Minecraft, and so I told him to suggested he do the hour of code.
Yeah.
And it comes up and says that he's not connected to the internet, which he is, or that his IP address is blocked. Now he's been doing it from home. Any idea why that would be happening and what to do about it?
No, I don't know.
I can access it, so we're obviously connected to the same server here, same browser, and same going through the same router and stuff here. And he's he's just on his computer and I'm on mine. I can get into it, he can't.
Well, I don't know.
Who do I find out about that? Because it says to contact someone, there's, because he's on the Minecraft education, contact his school, but because there's no one at his school actually doing anything about it, I'm not sure where to follow that up with, who to follow it up with.
Leave it with me, Helen, and I'll see if I can find out anything for you. So he's not using anything different to you, not a different web browser or anything else?
No. And he's logged in with his school account.
Is this within Minecraft?
This is, so it's one of the Minecraft
worlds.
Challenges.
They're not in Minecraft. Those hour of code activities are not actually in Minecraft. They're teaching coding, and they're using Minecraft-esque activities, but they're not actually in Minecraft.
So we
I think there is a lesson in Education Edition now, Bron.
Yeah.
Like a world.
Yeah, it definitely was in the Education Edition, Bron.
So you're going through Minecraft to get to them, not going to the Hour of Code website?
No, there's both, Bron.
No, we're going through Minecraft to get access to it.
All right.
Can he access any Education Edition normally without?
Yep, he's been able to get into all the other channels, challenges, without any issues, and like he did the bedroom one the other day, and that was amazing what he did with that, and then showed all his family and explained it and had to articulate what he'd done and why he'd done it, and asked opinions from everyone that he showed it to. But he wanted to do, because he's into coding, he's quite a bright young boy, he wanted to do the Hour of Code one, and couldn't.
Don't know, but I'll have a look into it. Otherwise, you could just go to the Hour of Code website, code.org, and do the activities through there.
Right, I'll see if we can do that.
Otherwise, you could try downloading the Minecraft world file from, I think this is the one you're talking about, from the Education Edition website. That way, if you've already downloaded the world file, it'll be local. So I don't know. It sounds like a bizarre lesson issue, especially if you can get onto it normally.
Yeah. Do you want me to send you screenshots, Bron?
Yeah, that would help.
Right, I'll send you some screenshots, and we'll go, and I'll go from there. Today's our last day. Everyone's he's back to school as per normal from tomorrow. So our remote homeschooling this has been our last day today. Because New South Wales schools, teachers are all back to school from next week. And I'm supposed to be back at school for the last 2 days this week. However, I've got to take leave for some medical issues with my
Are they? What year is he?
Year 5.
Oh, I didn't think they were all going back full time. They were doing
No,
one
but
a week.
he's a child of essential workers. So
oh, right. Okay.
His mother's a teacher. His father's a policeman. I'm a teacher. And my husband works for National Parks. So, and they have
He hit the jackpot.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're all listed as essential workers. So, yeah, the kids will have to go back to school tomorrow.
I'm trying to find Bron Stuckey YouTube channel. Does it have another name, or is it Bronwyn?
No, I had to close all my browser things before I came on because I was trying to reserve resources for this conversation. So no, but I spent all day cutting up videos and putting them in. So they're there.
I've done a search on YouTube on Bron Stuckey and filtered it for channels, and I only get 3 hits, and none of them are you.
No, because it may be it's under my corporate channel. Let me just get it up.
Okay. Is it Gamification Co. or something like that?
No. Let me just get it. So if I give you this video link, see if this works.
Okay. All right. These things are, it's a video on setting up remote Minecraft play.
Yes. Okay, so I'll just dump the individual videos in the chat. For some reason, the channel link isn't working, but.
Okay. Okay. Okay, well, anyway.
So what I've done is I've taken the last sessions and cut them up. So I have setting up remote Minecraft play. And last week's session, Minecraft as a lived curriculum, Minecraft challenges for group and multiplayer, Minecraft challenges in remote learning, so that's more a single player focus, and then Minecraft technical issues and management. So those are the 5 I've put up to date. So I've still got about another 6 or 7 to cut up from previous discussion sessions. So I was just trying to make them more digestible because they ended up being quite long. So
yeah, I always do raw videos. I just haven't got the patience for that, but that's really nice of you to share all that.
Well, I figure people want to hone in on certain parts of it, not necessarily all of it, just to get to the bit they're interested in. So, and in each of these, you should find links to documents and slides as well. So, you know, there's other stuff there.
Great. Okay.
All right. Well, I'll get on to fixing my channel and getting the rest of my videos and cutting up this one, of course. This one might actually be quite neat as just a conversation. So it may just go up raw, and everyone was happy with me recording it. So we're all good.
All right. Well, I look forward to finding where the mother load of
the mother load.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm talking about, this is a Wednesday. Do you do this at this time every Wednesday, or?
Yes, every Wednesday.
Okay.
Yeah, if the time doesn't suit, I'd love people to let me know if there's a preferred time. But we did survey people before we started, and this sort of end of afternoon or afternoon kind of worked out. It doesn't work so much for our international colleagues, although we've had some nice visitors from Philippines and Malaysia and in other parts of Southeast Asia. So it's nice to be able to have an Asian perspective on it as well. So.
Well, okay. I'll put something in the EVO Minecraft MOOC Facebook group and probably make some kind of record of this event.
Well, next week, we're hoping, if we get enough people engaged, we're going to be talking parents in Minecraft. So I'm hoping to get people to bring a parent, or if you're a teacher who's been operating as a parent, Helen, in teaching someone Minecraft or supervising someone with Minecraft, I think that events you might you have teaching teachers to show us as well.
I
really
Minecraft.
I want to have that conversation on how are people coping at the other end of this, because I think there's a lot to learn there as well, and what are parent concerns about not just remote learning, but about Minecraft itself as a remote learning experience.
Okay, I'll let people know, because we do have like Jane and Rose Bard both have children. They were both those kids, Emmanuel and Maddie.
That'd be great
children.
to have them in the conversation.
Yeah, we do a lot of that.
And then Helen, a secondary session is coming up.
That's good. Yeah, I'm just, once I go back to school, I'm just going to have to sort out how I'm going to manage it, because I leave, because normally I leave school about 3:15, especially now that winter, because I have like 3/4 of an hour to travel home. So, yeah, I'm going to have to sort out the timing, because if I stay at school, that means I'm definitely getting home in the dark and coming.
Yeah. Well, we can look at that, whether we need to change the time for secondary as well, because the school day is a little different, perhaps when people are back at school, than it has been with the current remote situation. So,
yeah, so I just have to
keep talking.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, everybody.
Nice
It's really wonderful to see you all, and happy Minecrafting.
Yeah, okay.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.